I had to go enlist some help. So my wife is coming down to help with this part, because what I got to do first is flip the floor over upside down so I can put the box in and paint and put the RV cover and the flashing tape in there. And then second, I need to cut the box parts out. So I have my sawhorses set up to do that. And Arvo is also waiting for his ball very patiently. All right, now that we've got that flipped, I can concentrate on getting this cut out so I can make the floor storage box and maybe get a coat of paint on later tonight on it. I think I'll be able to get this cut out before I go and make tacos, because that sounds really good. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna make a little change. I think I'm gonna have enough pieces to make this change. This K piece and these two V pieces are for that floor box. I have another K piece right here, and then I have a J piece right here. That J is the floor box bottom. I'll be able to make all of this, the J, the K, the two V's, and the other K out of this section, and be able to put some of these other parts over into here. All right, I'm gonna cut this out at 4'11". So now that I have this main piece cut out for the cabinets for later on next week to cut those stuff out, I can take this smaller piece and I should be able to use my table saw to cut the pieces that I need out for the floor box. I went out and measured the opening for my floor box, and it's just a bit over 30, like 30 and an eighth, and it's just under an 18th, or just under 18 at 17 and 15/16. So I'm going to modify this just a little bit just to make it fit correctly in there. So I'll be at 16 and 7/16 by 6 inches for the sides, and then I'll be at 2'6" plus an eighth, so 30 and an eighth for the front and the back. And it's getting cloudy and starting to sprinkle, so I better hurry. So I said I needed to be an eighth bigger. Looks like I need to be just a little bit more shy from that. So I'll go a 16th, and then right in here, this is gonna fit nice and snug right here. All right, then a quick test. I just make sure that my measurements are good here. So we should be at the same width as these pieces, and we should fit in right into here. And that looks like that will fit. So if I make this now with the bottom on here and put it in here, I'm not gonna be able to make my little rounded pieces. So I'm only gonna be able to make the sides. This, and my screws. I need 2.5 inch screws. I'm gonna go with 2-inch screws. There's a long one. Alright, so I'm getting all my stuff set up here. I don't think I'm going to go with the 2.5 inch screws. I've got a bunch of 2-inch screws. And I think just a couple on each side will be fine. But what I'm going to do is make these walls first and then screw those into the floor. And I want to do that because I want to put some fillets in on the outside and make this rounded. And then I'll put this top on afterwards and just screw that in from the bottom. And I think it'll be strong enough. I didn't make any supports underneath here. I'm wondering long term what that's going to look like, but with wood glue and with screws, it should hold just fine. All right, so what I'm gonna do for the inside fillets is just cut a little bit. I don't want a huge piece, but I want the table to be rounded. You know, maybe what I should do is just check to see what kind of trim pieces are out there for that table. So I couldn't find a trim kit that would make the table be in a certain size. So I want to do my own trim. So what I'm gonna do is cut out a 2-inch diameter angle or arc through here, so that when I cut out the top, it'll have some corners in the cutout. And then since it'll be a cutout like this and an arc this way, I'll use an arc this way in all 4 corners underneath that arc, the top arc, to be a support for the table to sit in when it's being stowed. And I'm going to do all of that with hole saws. I've got my hole cut out, and then what I need to do now is on my table saw, just cut right along each of these edges. And that might actually be kind of a small piece. I don't know. Let me try a bigger one, see what that looks like. I went with a bigger hole saw, and I think this will work better. And I probably can even use this cutout as the support pieces too. But this is a little bit bigger of an arc. A 3-inch hole saw instead of a 2-inch. Alright, so I've got 2 different pieces. I've got the circle cutout that I cut into 4 pieces, and that's going to be the inside curve, and then this piece is going to be the support on the bottom. So something like that. So what that means is the table will sit in flat this way, And then the corners each would be just supported by these 4 corners. And the table itself will have this rounded corner. So even though I'm doing these ones now too, I think it will be fine when I go to route everything out, because I'll be able to still have the roller bearing run on here and cut here. I'm not sure the best way to really get these attached. I kind of want to put a screw in through the other side, like a 1-inch screw, drill it out, and that'll hold it in really well. I've got some 1/5/8 handy, and I think if I put 1 in, that will be pretty good right from the end. Kind of want like a 1.5. I have some 1 1/4 inch screws. I do have some 1 1/4s, some real wood screws, so I think that would be the way to go. Now that should be plenty of support for the table to sit on. Just a cool little corner piece. Table will sit right in there. Just a couple more things remaining. Now I've got all of these details put in for all the corners. So now I'm going to attach this to the floor. And I'm going to glue all of these edges. Put some glue on here so that way it'll glue to the top. And then also have it glue to the sides here as well. And I'm going to screw in to the sides, probably 3 screws on each of these longer sides, and then 2 on the shorter sides. Now these ones I do want to measure, just so that they look nice and uniform. Middle. I'm gonna go in 5 on the other ones. Before I wrap this up, I'm just gonna clear off some of these pieces. Now for this the top piece, I am gonna drill these ones out since it's going into the edges of the plywood, and I don't want it to splinter out. So this is the bottom, and this is still fitting up really nicely. That's that. That's the floor box.